I'm here with Rich Tipperman. Rich, I've begun to integrate intraoperative aberrometry into my own practice, my own surgeries. And it's cool stuff. And after all, cool stuff is the reason that I went into this field in the first place. Right. Tell me, you gave a really nice talk on intraoperative aberrometry. Tell me about it. Flesh it out a little bit.
Sure. So I think it is really an exciting time in ophthalmology, and it's neat how ophthalmology has a lot of gadgets and is always reinventing itself. And you know, a decade or two ago, cataract surgery was all about completing the operation safely and then getting a lens that would fixate in the eye well. As we've moved towards advanced technology lenses, now really the key thing to a good outcome is hitting your target, and for most patients that's emmetropia. Although we have very advanced implant power calculation formulas, certainly even in the best of hands, there's patients that don't always hit target. So any technology that offers us the ability to fine-tune things and make it better is something that I think is exciting and worthwhile to all eye world watchers. So intraoperative aberrometry gives us additional data at the time of surgery after the cataract's been removed to allow us to fine-tune both the astigmatic control and also the spherical power as well, with a relatively short and brief measurement that can really fine-tune the refractive results for your patients.
Hey, Rich, so let me ask you this. In my practice, I am using it really exclusively, pretty much, for toric lenses. And if I were at this point to have someone come in post-LASIK, post-radial keratotomy, something like that, or some other cornea that's out of the norm, I would do it for. I'm not doing it regularly for spherical lenses. Where does it fit into your own practice?
Right. So I think, you know, it is something that we're still learning about, and clearly there are peer-reviewed papers that show that intraoperative aberrometry improves the results for toric correction and also improves the results for patients who had laser vision correction. One of the things people have said, well, in terms of the spherical power, how do you know where the final effective lens position is and how good is aberrometry going to work for that? But because you constantly are inputting your data into the database for the intraoperative aberrometer and fine-tuning things, what you'll often see is as you use the technology more and more, it allows you to adjust the power of the lens by a half a diopter. And that's often enough to go from a minus 0.75 or minus 1 diopter final postoperative refraction that a decade ago would have been a home run result. And now is a patient coming in and saying, why isn't it as good as I want uncorrected? So to take someone from minus 0.75 to minus a quarter diopter refractive error postoperatively, it really makes a big difference. And I think people who use intraoperative aberrometry a lot find the more they use the technology, the more, even for spherical power, they become comfortable in shifting the power by about a half a diopter or so.
There's no question that the patients are setting the bar so high for us now, and it's nice that we can reach that bar. It portends the bar being set even higher.
Right.
So one of the things that I found too is that there's no real learning curve with it, but there has been a curve with the amount of time that it takes for me to do the measurements and for the staff to set things up. How intrusive has this technology been to your surgical schedule, if you know what I mean?
Sure, I think it's a great question, and I think that there are changes and there are things that you need to do differently. I prefer to use a bladed speculum because it keeps the lashes out of the surgical field, but that will tend in many eyes and many orbits to put a little bit of pressure on the globe and change your cylinder. So I had to switch to more of a wire-based speculum, had to change how we draped the eye. And there is a little bit of a learning curve in terms of time, but I think that most centers become very facile with the technology quite quickly, and the thing you need to factor in is, at least in my practice and likely in yours and likely in our viewers' practices, the time you can spend in a patient who postoperatively who ends up with a refractive error that they don't want in the lane can be huge. And just avoiding one of those patients once or twice a month, it's a huge benefit on the upside in terms of intraoperative aberrometry. So I think you're right, the learning curve is short. There is some change. There are some changes you need to make and some things people in the surgery center need to do differently, but it's easily adaptable by any center that does a lot of ophthalmic surgery.
I have one last question. The hospital-based ambulatory surgery center where I do surgery doesn't have a consignment of toric lenses, so I need to order toric lenses, and typically I'll order a couple toric lenses so that if they drop one on the floor. There's another one that's fresh. I find now that I'm bringing 9 lenses in the room to cover me for suggestions that the intraoperative aberrometer makes.
Yeah, I think that's very true, and I find the same thing, that I definitely need to bring more lenses in, and I think it's something that's going to push all the companies to eventually develop preloaded lenses, because one of the other problems is you can't flip the lens ahead of time to the nurse, so the nurse has to first load it once you've determined the approximate power. But I think centers that do surgery, because this really can up your game, will make a commitment to getting a consignment. The companies will make a commitment towards producing more preloaded lenses. And it's a nice thing, because all this is really driven to deliver better outcomes to our patients and achieve happier patients.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Absolutely.
I really like it. Rich, thank you very, very much
My pleasure.
for bringing this to us, and of course for being so generous with your time with us today.
My pleasure. Thanks a lot.